Ok, clase, para esta noche vamos a hablar sobre la comida. We're going to talk about the food. This right here is just a picture of a family, una familia mexicana, come, that eats in the patio de su casa in Mexico. And ¿qué comemos dónde? What do you eat and where? So let's talk about some comidas. First, we're going to go to el desayuno. This means breakfast. So let's see if you can identify these without me putting the English meaning. You have el panecillo. So that would be a roll. Panecillo, it literally means little bread, or fat bread actually. La mantequilla, that would be butter. La mantequilla. Las tostadas, el pan tostado, that would be toasted bread. So pan is bread, but toasted bread would be toast. El cereal, cereal. El tocino, el bacon. El tocino is more commonly known. You can say this though, but el tocino is the more known way of saying bacon. Los huevos. This looks like my plate. I eat this every morning of my life. Los huevos. Okay? El almuerzo. So this means lunch. So let's look at some lunch foods. You have una hamburguesa. Yum! Una hamburguesa. Un sándwich de jamón y queso, or it's also called un bocadillo. So this is a sandwich of ham and cheese. Y'all know queso. I think everyone knows that word, queso, or it's called bocadillo. You have una pizza. That one's easy. Una pizza. Una ensalada de lechuga y tomates. That means a salad with lettuce and tomatoes. Okay. Then we're going to move on to la cena. That would be dinner. What we got for dinner? We have el postre. El postre just means dessert, so it could be in reference to any kind of dessert. But some specifics. Un helado, ice cream. Just waiting for Bluebell to come back. Okay, el flan. This would be flan. I don't know how many of you have had that, but it's an acquired taste. El pollo, chicken. Las legumbres, los vegetales, las verduras. All of that means just greens, vegetables, string beans, peas, all that. Then you have el pescado. That means fish. La carne. That means meat. Las papas or las patatas fritas. That just means French fries. All of y'all are going to love those. If you hear that dog, that's my dog barking. Arroz y frijoles. Arroz means rice, and frijoles means beans. Okay? Las bebidas. Now let's move on to some drinks. We have un vaso de leche. This just means a glass of milk. So you need to know that vaso means glass and leche means milk. Una gaseosa, una cola. This just means like a gassed drink, so something with fizz. So that would be like cola. You can just call it cola. That works too. Un vaso de agua fría. Again, a glass of water. All of y'all should know what agua is. Means water. Fría. Again, you just make it match agua. It means cold, which y'all already know that. Una taza de chocolate caliente. Una taza means it's not a glass. Whoa. Una taza is not a glass, okay? It is a kind of like a coffee mug. It's a mug or a tea glass, something like that. Of chocolate hot, of hot chocolate. Caliente means hot, temperature-wise. Una taza de café, so a cup of coffee. Un vaso de jugo de naranja, that means a glass of juice of orange, orange juice. Juice of orange. Muy bien. All right, now let's move on to some words in reference to tasting things and silverware. Okay, so this right here, this would mean frío, so stuff that is cold, which y'all already know that word. Caliente, which means hot, again, just in reference to food. Okay, salado, Don't be confused. This is not salad. Ensalada is salad. Salado would be salty. So if something is really salty, like this pretzel. Okay? Picante. That means spicy. This is my life. Spicy. Spicy foods. El plato hondo. It's not hondo. Okay, remember the H is silent. El plato hondo means bowl. El plato, that means plate. Una servilleta, that means a napkin. Una servilleta, again, try to pronounce these with me as we go along. Then you have un cuchillo. Un cuchillo means a knife. La cuchara, that means spoon. El tenedor, that means fork. Again, un vaso means glass. And one of my favorite words, riquísimo or riquísima, which means delicious. All right, now the last thing we're going to talk about is just some verbos y hablando sobre la comida. So some verbs and talking about food, so some nouns that talk in reference to food. So write all these down. You can pause the video if you want, so you don't miss these. But tener hambre means to have hunger or to be hungry. So don't get confused. If this A is changed to an O, remember that means man. So you don't want to say tener hombre, that means to have a man. You want to say tener hambre means to have hunger or to be hungry. All right, tener sed, to have thirst or to be thirsty. Tomar, to drink. Comer, to eat. One of my favorite words also. Beber also means to drink, and I'm going to tell y'all when to use each one of these depending on the reference or the sentence. Cenar means to eat dinner. So you have cena, which means dinner, cenar, to eat dinner. And then here are some nouns in reference to eating. You have la comida, which means food. El desayuno, breakfast. El almuerzo, lunch. La cena, dinner. And vegetariano means vegetarian, which I hope none of you are. But if you are, that's okay. I just love my meats. Alrighty, and that is it for the nouns and the verbs. So let's practice just a little bit of reading that I have on here. That's a really big burger. So she is saying, tengo mucha hambre. Voy a comer algo. So I have a lot of hunger. I am hungry. I am going to eat something. Y'all recognize this? Voy a comer. I'm going to eat something. And he says, tengo mucha sed. Tengo que beber algo. I have a lot of thirst. I am going to, or I have to drink something. Okay? So what is this girl saying? Lidia toma el desayuno en casa. So she is eating or taking breakfast in the house. ¿Qué come para el desayuno? What is she eating for breakfast? She eats, come, not come, come, cereal, y bebe un vaso de jugo de naranja. So she's eating cereal and she's drinking orange juice. Okay? Los alumnos toman el almuerzo en la cafetería. The students are taking lunch in the cafeteria, or they're eating lunch in the cafeteria. Comen un bocadillo o una pizza. They're eating a sandwich and a pizza. Okay? And the last one, I believe. La familia Valdez es de Colombia. They're from Colombia. Viven en Bogotá. They live in Bogotá. Esta noche cenan en casa. Tonight, they're eating in the house, eating dinner in the house. Los Valdez reciben una sorpresa. They receive a surprise. Abuelita, little grandma, llega con una torta grande. So she arrives with a huge cake. Qué delicioso. How delicious. Okay, and that is total. So pause the video and copy down those verbs and those nouns, and we will discuss them in class tomorrow. Remember, take notes. Gracias. Adiós.